Joe, when you saw the news today of Gundy getting fired, what were your thoughts?
Well, it's obvious why he was fired. This team was a mess. They got completely smoked by Oregon. They were incompetent offensively, one of the worst teams in the Big 12 offensively. This upcoming week on FanDuel against Baylor, there are 21.5-point dogs. So if anyone wants to bet Sawyer Robertson to put up a lot of points against this Oklahoma State squad, there's a very good chance of him doing it. But Blake, regardless of how bad this team was at the current moment, I have to feel bothered by how this was handled. I have to feel really disenfranchised by the timing of this. We're talking about Mike Gundy, who very eccentric personality. He was a 2011 Big 12 champion with this team, 170-90 leading this team, 8 10-win seasons, only 2 losing records in the span that he was coaching this squad. I find it kind of disrespectful for a guy who's built up this Oklahoma State program and who's been the face of this Oklahoma State program that they fired him right now. They fired him after 4 weeks into the season. I understand that the wheels completely fell off here. This was not a good team. There's a legit shot that they go winless or have 1 win this year. They're very bad, Blake. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you didn't have faith that they were going to get it done this season, you should have let him go during last offseason. This is oddly disrespectful to me for a guy that has built up your program and has made it nationally relevant for most of the time that he was there.
I feel like that things started going downhill when things started heating up around him politically. And I'm not going down that rabbit hole because that's not us. Mm-hmm. I do think things started heating up for him, and the decline technically I felt like started there. I think Gundy got, look, there are people that have done that, like Bruce Pearl, who still had success. Gundy did some things and said some things that I think from the 2021-2022 season, things kind of started dwindling down for him. They couldn't recruit at a high level. They're the level that they were actually doing. Joe, but he fell behind the times, even in some of the political stuff that he talked about. And listen, I don't care either which way, whether you love what he said or hate what he said. I don't care. But they couldn't recruit. And then they didn't get involved and really embrace what the new age of college football was. It's not just a Gundy thing. But you got to go back, and you said that it was mismanaged. Joe, it was mismanaged during the offseason when they tried to make him take a pay cut instead of just ripping the Band-Aid off of a 3-9 season. Right? Like, this is completely mismanaged. By the way, you played on Thursday, Friday night, whatever it was this past week versus Tulsa, and lost. And then you fire him on a Tuesday, the day that college kids come back to practice. So we talk about Gundy, but you're right. The mismanagement of this entire situation is completely insane. Joe, they've had 2 head coaches since 2005, actually since 2004, Les Miles, of all people, and Mike Gundy. I think he deserved the level of respect to play it out and then do it at the end of the year. Ripping off the Band-Aid now does, though, make some sense, even when the timing. But how you've mismanaged this entire situation starts for me to beg the question, are you going to mismanage this hiring that you have to do? Now, I know that Zach Robinson, the Falcons OC, is someone that's going to get a lot of pub here. Someone who's an Oklahoma State guy. He's one of the bigger names. Does it get you involved with guys like Golish at South Florida? I don't know. But here's the bottom line truth if you're Oklahoma State. You will not be relevant until you start doing things like what Texas Tech just did. Hey, Texas Tech can't get over the hump. What do? Joe, they spent there was reported in the offseason, $25 million. Jordan fades back, swish, and that's the game, Your Honor. I mean, that's what you have to do. The fact that they don't and wouldn't do that is going to be a crux for them. Joe, they got embarrassed on national television by Tulsa. And
everybody was talking about it.
Everybody was talking about it. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. But, Joe, I got to be real with you. He was 3-9 last year, and they're 1-2 right now. He's 4-11 in the last 15 games. he did need to be fired.
Obviously.
We go through all of that and talk about this mismanagement, and the ADs should be embarrassed how they manage this thing. However, this was a crapshoot, and it was going downhill very fast.
So that part I don't disagree with. I'm on the same page with you that, yeah, this team fell apart. And it's crazy to think 2 years ago they were in the Big 12 championship game against Texas, and you had a Doak Walker award-winning running back. Like the transition is nuts. But if you were so
by the way, Ollie Gordon was a preseason Heisman favorite.
Yeah,
if you remember.
It's crazy, the transition, but when you're mentioning here the performance they had last year, they were a joke last year, and they were somehow more of a joke to start this season. Part of it, I think, was his mismanagement. I think also this athletic department, I wonder how financially committed they are, which you just brought up is a really good question. I'm still sticking behind. I'm really frustrated by the disservice to him for what he's been for this team. He's one of especially probably the only coach that I can think of that didn't opt to try and jump ship to go somewhere else. Jimmy Johnson left to go Miami. Les Miles left to go to LSU. You have all of these guys.
All better programs.
Left for bigger and better programs. And the one man who stuck around and, again, kept your program extremely relevant, you embarrass him this way. I think it's so unfair to him.
Gundy's name was brought up a lot in the LSU search of Brian Kelly.
Yeah, and
a lot.
Even weirder to consider that this is where it came down. I think he's probably going to be in a broadcast booth, and I feel like the way that he mailed it in coaching-wise, that maybe he's one of these guys that gets into broadcasting and just sticks there until he retires.
The Big 12 has one opportunity. Instead of putting Dave Portnoy up there, with all due respect, I'm going to be careful. Okay. Portnoy is not the Pat McAfee that you need. Mike Gundy is.
I wonder if OAN would consider broadcasting games.
Good Lord.
I wonder if they'd put him into maybe they could give him his own show. Who knows? Maybe that's what can happen. Blake, I will say this, though. I wonder what happens now with Oklahoma State. Is there suddenly a aggressive financial commitment? Because we just watched Virginia Tech do that, where they fired Brent Pry, and then a week later they announced, I think, like a $47 million boost to their athletic budget. I don't know how much of that is going to go towards revenue sharing and NIL and whatnot. But still, is there a chance here, knowing that there are rich alumni for Oklahoma State, is there maybe a side
Pickens money? They got T-Boone Pickens. They got money.
Right. Are there maybe folks that were opting not to be more committed financially because they were sick of Gundy? Who knows what it was? We're not privy to those situations, but do we see this sudden financial commitment to the new guy? Or if they keep trying to do the same crap, it's going to produce the same results.
Look, I'll tell you this. I mean, Brian Kelly went to a podium just as a coach. He's not the only one that did this. Brent Venables did this as well, who had to go in the portal and do a lot of things. And, it's funny, Joe, the other coach that did this was Mike Norvell. So the three teams that are having success, all three of those coaches gave $1 million. Lincoln Riley did it too, by the way. All of those coaches gave $1 million of their own money that they were getting paid to go into the portal because they all understood one thing. Listen, $1 million is $1 million. But if I don't win, I'm going to get fired. And these coaches, whether you like them, love them, or hate them, they're narcissistic enough to not want to lose. They want to be around football. That's what brought them there. And I think it's funny, Joe. Look, you can say and do whatever you want to think about the portal and NIL and all that. Look at the teams that revamped themselves this year and how you can. But, Joe, the problem was, even though they were in the Big 12 title game not too long ago, the problem is I don't think today's society and the players that he was trying to recruit understood his message. And that ultimately bit him in the ass. I mean, who wants to go to play at Oklahoma State under Gundy? No, kids were not going. Joe, they were in the mid-70s, mid-80s in recruiting. What are we doing? Like, you can't do that.
It's not good enough.
No, not at all. Not at all. I guess we do need to stay in the same state of Oklahoma, though.
Yes. This was shocking news.
Very shocking. Before we get to that, Elk says, heard that Jim Knowles already asked for a raise this week.
Yes, Elks, you dropped this in the Discord. I didn't get a chance to like really go back and forth. Today was mess with the Jackson Dart stuff, but we were briefly talking about in the Discord. If you want to sign up for the Discord, it's $4.99 to become a member and get access. I mean, I get it, but why would Knowles? I don't think Knowles.
I'm not buying that.
Job.
I'm not buying that.
I would buy it, but I'd buy that he would maybe do this, but I really don't think
being the DC of Penn State is better than being the head coach of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, he might have just seen if he could get a little bit extra money. It doesn't mean he's serious about doing it. If I was his agent, I would do it too.
I do think this Zach Robinson thing with Atlanta is starting to get pretty interesting already.
I know one person, my roommate, who would be more than happy to watch Zach Robinson leave the Atlanta Falcons to go there.
I don't think Zach Robinson's the problem.
Oh, don't tell that to Sean. Sean will take your head off if you think that
ask Sean what a backside tackle does to a three tech on opposite side zone. And if he can tell me, then we'll have.
He's walked me through that in our living room before. You don't understand. That's not going to do anything to him.
All right, good. All right.